She said yes to the wrong ring. On the night, I exposed her affair in front of everyone she knew. The applause was still echoing when the projector lit up. That's when the screaming started. But let me rewind. I'm Liam Carter, 30, freelance photographer. I shoot food, fashion, faces, whatever pays. I live for natural light, long lenses, and truth in a frame. I'm not flashy. I don't need to be. I notice what most people miss. And I love quietly, steadily, fully. Sabrina Moore was never quiet. She walked into rooms like they were built for her. 28. VP of marketing at some AI startup with a name like a bad Scrabble hand. Ambitious didn't cover it. She was addicted to the optics of success. Perfect hair, perfect captions, perfect lies. To the world, we were a power couple in the making. To me, we were building something real. Shared playlists, takeout Tuesdays, morning kisses before meetings. And Baxter, our rescue mutt who thought Sabrina hung the moon. Then, one night, everything cracked. I was on the couch editing photos from a vegan taco festival, of all things. Sabrina had canceled date night. Big launch, late hours, don't wait up. Baxter was curled beside me, snoring softly, when I tapped through Instagram stories. Rooftop gala, glittering skyline. The kind of event Sabrina used to call soul-sucking schmooze fests. There she was, on the arm of Nathan Reeve, CEO, married, 10 years older, all ego and polished teeth. He ran the startup Sabrina worked for. He also ran his hands down the back of her dress as they posed for photos. But what stopped me cold wasn't the dress, or the kiss on the cheek, or the way she laughed like I didn't exist. It was the ring. Cushion cut. Flashy. Absolutely not the one I'd picked out 6 months ago when we talked about someday. And it wasn't on her left hand. It was on her right, because that night wasn't about marriage. It was about status. She wore that ring like a trophy. Like he was the prize. I paused the video. My pulse slowed. Everything else went quiet. Then I opened Google reverse image search. I thought I was prepared for what I'd find. I wasn't. The image search pulled up more than just that gala. Dozens of hits. Sabrina at conferences, at after-parties, at panels I never even knew she attended. Always dressed like the event was about her. Always near Nathan. In some, she was just a face in the crowd. In others, she was center stage. Smiling. Leaning in close. Holding champagne flutes. Wearing the same ring. She told me she hated these things. Called them networking theater. She used to come home rolling her eyes, kicking off her heels, begging for ramen and reruns. But in these photos, she was glowing. And Nathan? Always right beside her. His hand on her back. His watch flashing in every frame like a warning. I kept scrolling. Gala in Austin. Tech mixer in Seattle. And executive women in startups. Brunch in Napa. Sabrina sitting on a wicker love seat, laughing at something Nathan whispered in her ear. That one burned. Because that weekend, she'd told me she was visiting her cousin in LA. She texted photos of palm trees, said they were taking a girls' spa day. She even FaceTimed me from a hotel room. Sheets pristine, TV muted, no background noise. I remembered thinking it looked too clean to be real. Now I knew why. Another photo stopped me. She was in a white robe, wet hair, glass of Prosecco in hand, standing on a hotel balcony. And Nathan? Just out of frame. Bare chest. His reflection caught in the glass door behind her. I zoomed in. My stomach turned. She wasn't even hiding it. Not really. Just counting on me being blind. Or maybe trusting I'd never looked too close. I sat back in my chair, hands shaking. She told me she was working late, grinding through launch week, buried in deliverables. Meanwhile, she was out here playing mistress to a man who kissed his kids goodnight and then flew first class to meet my girlfriend. I felt stupid. Worse than stupid. I felt used. But I didn't text her. Didn't call. Didn't scream. Instead, I stared at that robe photo and felt something inside me shift. Something cold. Something calm. I opened my calendar and created an event. Title, Sabrina's birthday. Time, 7 p.m. Location, TBD. Guests, everyone. Then I opened a new browser tab. Searched for party venues with good lighting. And I whispered to myself, "You want to be the star, Sabrina? I'm about to make you famous." She walked through the door like nothing had changed. Her heels clicked across the hardwood, her phone still glued to her hand. I was on the couch, pretending to be half asleep, Baxter curled against my side like a lie detector. "Hey, babe," she said, setting her purse down. "Long day. Don't ask." Launch chaos. I asked, eyes still on the TV. She sighed. Worse. Legal flagged a permissions issue with the user data API, so the whole campaign's delayed. I spent 5 hours untangling it. That's when I knew. Not suspected. Knew. Because the API didn't launch until next week. I knew that. I'd helped her design the launch day shoot. I'd seen the mock-ups. But I didn't flinch. Didn't even blink. I just nodded and said, "You hungry?" She slipped off her jacket and walked toward the kitchen. Starving. Did we ever finish that curry? I followed her, watching the back of her neck. That little freckle behind her ear. The one I used to kiss when she'd fall asleep on me. The same spot Nathan probably knew now, too. I was thinking, I said, casually, as I handed her a plate. Your birthday's coming up. Want to do something big this year? She looked up, caught off guard. Like, what kind of big? A party. Rent a place. Dress up. Invite everyone. All the people who love you. The whole tribe. She smiled, real this time. Surprised, maybe flattered. You've always hated big parties. Yeah, but it's your day. Let's make it sparkle. She leaned over the counter, kissed my cheek. God, you're the best. I smiled back, slow and steady. I try. And that's how I started planning the event that would ruin her. The next morning, I pulled out the receipts. Literally. The credit card bills, the travel charges, the hotel stays billed under Nathan's company. Some clever accounting trick with a consulting firm's name, but I knew the pattern. I'd seen enough expense reports in my freelance years to know what laundering a lie looked like. And I wasn't alone, because someone else had been watching longer than I had. Claire Reef, Nathan's wife. I'd seen her twice at company mixers. Always composed. Always quiet. The kind of woman who didn't need to compete, because she already knew everything. I found her Instagram. DM'd her one sentence. I think your husband and my girlfriend are sharing more than just work. She responded 20 minutes later. Meet me tomorrow. Coffee bar on Hayes. 9 a.m., and don't bring her. We sat outside. Two strangers connected by betrayal. Claire wore black sunglasses and a trench coat like she'd stepped out of a noir film. She didn't waste time. I know about the yacht in Monterey, she said, stirring her espresso. I know about the hotel in Austin. And I know about the watch. I blinked. The watch. She smiled cold. Nathan bought her a Cartier last month. Used my Amex. I let out a low whistle. Classy. Don't worry, she added. He'll pay for that mistake. But I think they deserve something a little more theatrical. I leaned in. I was hoping you'd say that. She reached into her purse and slid me a flash drive. Start here. What's on it? Security footage. My tech guy helped me pull it from the hotel Nathan thinks I don't know about. Audio, too. It's illuminating. I took the drive like it was a loaded gun. She stood, smoothed her coat, and turned to leave. Claire, I said before she walked off. Why are you helping me? She paused, glanced back over her shoulder. Because they think we're weak, she said. Let's make them wish they never met each other. Betrayal makes strange allies. Claire and I didn't text often. Didn't need to. We met in quiet cafes and spoke like spies. Head low. Words careful. Rage restrained only by the elegance of planning. We're not wrecking our lives, she said once, sipping her black coffee. We're exposing theirs. I like that. She had a way of speaking that felt surgical, no wasted emotion, just incisions. While I was still choking on the pain, Claire was already sketching blueprints for war. And the thing was, she didn't even look angry. Not like me. She looked focused. Dangerous. Do you think she loves him? I asked one morning, more to hurt myself than to get an answer. Claire shrugged. I think she loves what he represents. Money. Power. Escape from the version of herself that still needs to apologize for where she came from. That hit harder than I expected, because I'd seen Sabrina work her way up. She came from nothing. Hustled for every job. Learned the language of boardrooms and brunches and tech lords who wore hoodies but wielded millions. And somewhere in that climb, she'd stopped being mine and started being his. Claire leaned back. Do you still love her? I don't know what I love anymore, I said. But I know I want to see the look on her face when it all comes down. Claire smiled slow. Then let's give her a front row seat to her own undoing. We agreed on one thing early. It had to be public. Intimate revenge is therapeutic. But public? That's legacy. You said her birthday's coming up? Claire asked. Yeah. She wants sparkle. Spotlight. Attention. Perfect, Claire said. Let's give her a goddamn spotlight. That night, I lay in bed beside Sabrina while she scrolled through Pinterest boards for party ideas. Gold streamers. floating candles, designer cupcakes shaped like peonies. Do you think I should wear black or something bright? She asked. You'd look good in red, I murmured. She smiled without looking at me. You always know. I stared at her hand, the one she used to wear the fake ring on. It was bare now, probably saving it for the gala next week. I almost said something, almost broke character, but I didn't. I let her plan the stage for her own humiliation. Because the performance had already started. She just didn't know she was the show. Claire and I mapped the players like it was chess. Guests, everyone from Sabrina's office, plus the execs she envied and the influencers she faked friendships with. Venue, a rooftop space with full AV capability. Projector, surround sound. Stage lighting. Surprises, hidden mics. Discreet cameras. My videographer friends thought it was a birthday docuseries. A sweet gesture from a doting boyfriend. I didn't correct them. This is going to go viral, one of them said, half joking. I smiled. Yeah, it might. Because the truth wasn't enough anymore. It had to echo. Claire booked her own ticket to the party, under a fake name. She wouldn't make her entrance until the final reveal. She wanted to see his face when it all unraveled. So did I? But first, I had a few more things to set in place. I texted Sabrina the next morning. Thinking about getting you something special for your birthday. What's your ring size again? She responded with a heart emoji and her size. And just like that, she handed me the last tool I needed. Because this time, she'd say yes. And the whole damn world would watch her do it. She wants to be the center of attention? I told my friend Paul, one of the best wedding videographers in the Bay. Let's give her an audience. We were standing inside the rooftop venue 2 weeks before the party. The place had everything I needed. Natural lighting at golden hour, full AV hookups, a discreet balcony entrance, and a skyline backdrop that screamed influencer heaven. She's gonna love this, Paul said, scanning the room. You want full coverage, yeah? Like start to finish? Yep. I want it all. Arrival, speeches, reactions, maybe some quick interviews. Think. Birthday documentary. Stylish. Emotional. He nodded, already picturing his B-roll. What about mics? He asked. I'll wear one, I said. And I want one clipped near the cake. People always say the real stuff around cake. Paul laughed. You're not wrong. The next 2 weeks felt like walking through a minefield with a smile. I watched Sabrina come home late, tell half-truths, whisper texts when she thought I wasn't looking. But I didn't flinch. I just kept setting the stage. I placed a small camera behind a bookshelf in our living room, just in case. Another inside my car, facing the passenger seat. I installed a voice recorder beneath the hallway console, where Sabrina took most of her work calls. One afternoon, I caught this. Nathan, on speaker, Claire's in New York until the 17th. I booked the suite. Bring the red heels. Sabrina, soft laugh. The ones you like or the ones I bought with your card? Nathan, surprise me. Sabrina, you always say that. I labeled that file sweet talk. Wave. It's amazing how many lies a person tells in a single day. This app launch is killing me. Miranda and I are getting drinks after work. I'm gonna crash early, headache. But the thing that broke me a little? She'd started avoiding Baxter. Our rescue dog. Our little glue. He'd go to the door when she came home, tail wagging, and she'd barely touch his head. Like he was just part of the furniture now. And I wondered, how long had she been disengaging? How long had I missed it? That night, while she slept, I lay beside her staring at the ceiling. My chest felt tight. Not from rage. From grief. Because the woman I loved wasn't just cheating on me. She didn't exist anymore. 3 days before the party, Claire texted me. He just booked a post-gala business trip. Guess where? Attached was a hotel confirmation. Monterey. Ocean View Suite. Same room as last time. I responded. He'll need that view. Because when this hits, it's the only place he'll have left to hide. I visited the jeweler the next morning. Not for her ring. For mine. The one I'd used to drop to one knee and sell the biggest lie of my life. It sparkled under the store lights. Too big. Too perfect. Exactly what she'd want. I handed over my card. The woman behind the counter asked if I wanted it gift-wrapped. No, I said. She'll be wearing it out. That night, as we ate Thai on the couch, Sabrina looked over at me and said, You're different lately. I paused mid-bite. How so? She shrugged. I don't know. Calmer. Like you've finally figured something out. I smiled. Yeah, I said. I think I have. She stood in front of the mirror, twisting her wrist back and forth, watching how the light caught the new watch Nathan gave her. "It's rose gold," she said, like I hadn't noticed. "Limited edition. One of only 30 made." "Wow," I said from the doorway, arms crossed. Must have been a generous launch bonus. She didn't turn. "It was a thank you gift." "For what?" She hesitated just long enough to make it obvious. "Helping him with his speech for the investor summit." I raised an eyebrow. "Didn't know writing keynote speeches was in your job description." She laughed it off. "It's not. But I'm persuasive. You know that." "Yeah, I did." Later that night, when she was in the shower, I checked her purse. The watch box was still in there. The receipt too. $11,200. Paid with Claire Reeves American Express. I took a photo. Sent it to Claire with no caption. A minute later she replied, "You want him in the front row?" "Absolutely." The venue was nearly ready. Claire and I met once more, final walkthrough. She wore dark glasses again, like she was dressing for a funeral. Maybe she was. "She's going to love this," Claire said, testing the mic, full audience. Theatrical lighting. And the man she ruined her life for sitting 15 feet away. "Think she'll break." Claire shrugged. "Doesn't matter. What matters is they see it. All of them. Her friends. His investors. Your people. Mine." I walked over to the screen where we'd run the montage. Still images. Clips. The mic'd up rooftop whisper from Seattle. The blurry kiss in a hotel lobby. The champagne toast. Her hand grazing his thigh beneath the table. "Too much?" I asked. Claire tilted her head. "Not enough." I sent the formal invitation to Nathan 2 nights before the party. Private birthday event for Sabrina Moore. Rooftop venue. 7 p.m. You've already given her the watch. Now you can watch the rest unfold. No response. Until the next morning. Just one line. "I'll be there. Can't wait to see what you've planned." He thought it was a challenge. A game. He had no idea. The night before the party, Sabrina curled up next to me and whispered, "You've been so good to me." I didn't answer. She reached over and touched my chest. "You always make me feel seen." That was the last straw. Because the truth was, she'd never seen me at all. She saw what I gave her. What I made possible. But not me. Not the man who walked her dog in the rain when she was hungover. Not the one who photoshopped her headshots until she looked the way she saw herself. Not the guy who believed every version of her was worth it, even the messy ones. But I was done being the frame. It was time to become the lens. I opened the velvet box and stared at the ring. It sparkled like it meant something. Like it had weight. But it didn't. Not really. It was beautiful, yes. Dazzling, even. A halo-style cushion cut with a band so thin it looked like it was floating. Exactly what Sabrina would say yes to. But it was fake. Cubic zirconia. Sterling silver. Total cost, $148. Because the point wasn't to marry her. The point was to make her accept it. Publicly. Proudly. And then burn in the fallout. I stood in the bathroom mirror that morning, practicing the words. Not the ones I meant. The ones she expected. "Sabrina, you are the light in every shadow of my life." Too much. I knew the moment I saw you, this was it. Too scripted. "Will you make me the happiest man alive?" Perfect. I said it again, slower. Watching my face. A smile that looked real. Eyes that looked soft. I was faking sincerity like she faked love. And damn, I was good at it. The box fit perfectly into the inside pocket of my jacket. I checked it 3 times before I left the apartment, even though I knew it was there. Outside, Paul was loading up his camera gear. "You nervous?" he asked, balancing a stabilizer on one shoulder. "Yeah, I lied. Big moment." He grinned. "You got this, man. She's gonna say yes. She's crazy about you." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, crazy." Sabrina spent the day being coy, posting Instagram stories about getting glam, tagging her makeup artist, dropping hints about a surprise night. Claire texted me mid-afternoon. "He's in position. Brought a bottle of Dom and everything." Perfect. Make sure he sees the ring. "Oh, he will." I arrived early. Checked the cameras. Met with Paul and the team. Everyone thought it was a love story. That was the magic of it. They were all filming a proposal. And they were. Just not the kind anyone expected. The playlist was cued. The lighting dimmed. Champagne chilled. Guests began to arrive in clusters of stilettos and aftershave. Executives. Marketing leads. Sabrina's brunch crew. The VP who once hit on her at the holiday party. They all came to watch her win. They had no idea they were walking into a trap. 7:38 p.m. She walked in like she owned the room. Red dress. Loose curls. Lipstick like a weapon. She lit up at the sight of the crowd, soaking it in. Nathan was already there, standing near the bar, glass in hand, eyes flicking across the room. He didn't look at her directly. She didn't look at him at all. They'd agreed to pretend, to stay apart. But that tension, everyone felt it, even if they couldn't name it. Sabrina found me near the stage and kissed my cheek. You did all this? For you? I said. All for you. She grinned. God, I love you. I kissed her forehead, soft and slow. I know. Paul gave me the signal. Cameras rolling. Mic hot. I clinked my glass. Can I have everyone's attention? The room quieted. Lights shifted slightly. Sabrina's eyes widened in confusion, then realization. Her hand flew to her mouth. I stepped toward her, reached into my jacket, dropped to one knee. Gasps. A few cheers. The ring caught the light, throwing sparkles across her stunned face. Sabrina Moore, I said. You are everything I never thought I deserved. Her hands trembled. But somehow, you chose me anyway. I held the box higher. Will you marry me? She said yes. Of course she did. Tears. Applause. Champagne being uncorked. She held out her hand, beaming like her life was finally perfect. I slid the ring on. Flashbulbs. Video. A chorus of cheers. And then I stood, held her hand, turned to the crowd, and said, Now, before we celebrate, there's something I'd like to share. The applause hadn't even died down when I walked toward the mic. Sabrina clutched my hand like she was clinging to a dream. The ring sparkled under the lights. Her eyes were glassy. She was glowing, literally glowing, with the high of public validation. To her, this was the pinnacle, the surprise, the proposal, the party, the moment. Behind me, the projector screen hummed to life. A soft blue glow. Idle. Waiting. I tapped the mic gently. The room settled. Thank you, I said, smiling. Seriously, thank you all for being here tonight. I could feel her watching me, confused, a little breathless. Her mascara had started to smudge just beneath her left eye. I wondered if she'd cry again when the lights went out, but for very different reasons. This night's special for a lot of reasons, I continued. We're here to celebrate Sabrina, her birthday, her accomplishments, her heart. She squeezed my arm. I didn't look at her. And tonight, she said yes to something big. Chuckles. Whistles. Someone shouted, finally. She said yes to a future. Another pause. Just long enough to stretch the tension. And I think, before we toast to that future, there's something we all deserve to see first. I stepped aside and said 4 words. Lights off, roll it. The room went black. A beat of silence. Then, the first image lit up the screen. Sabrina, laughing in a silk robe, glass of Prosecco in hand. Zoom out. Nathan, shirtless, reflected in the glass door behind her. You could hear the air shift, like a collective inhale from the crowd. Next slide. Sabrina, in red. Nathan's hand at the small of her back. Hotel hallway. Her key card in his hand. Then video. Rooftop dinner. Candlelight flickering. Sabrina leans across the table, whispers something into Nathan's ear. He laughs, reaches for her thigh. Audio kicks in. Tell me again what you told him. Nathan says. That I was working late, she replies, sipping wine. He believes everything I say. The room was dead silent. No coughing. No whispers. No phones clicking. Just the cold, clinical unraveling of a double life. I didn't look at her yet. I looked at him. Nathan Reeves stood near the back wall, his champagne untouched, his jaw tight. The crowd had shifted away from him like he was radioactive. And then, Claire stepped forward. From the shadows. Elegant. Icy. Dressed like vengeance. The click of her heels echoed as she walked straight up to Nathan. And slapped him. Hard. Gasps. A few people started recording. She leaned in, low and close, and whispered something no one else could hear. He didn't say a word. Just turned and walked, fast, toward the exit. Cowered to the end. Then, finally, I turned to Sabrina. She hadn't moved. Her hands were frozen mid-air, like she forgot what she was supposed to do with them. The ring, still on her finger, glinted under the projector's light. Her mouth was open, not crying, not breathing, just broken. I stepped toward her slow, leaned into the mic one last time. Smile for the camera, babe. Behind me, the reel kept playing. She was still wearing the ring. That fake, glittering lie wrapped around her finger like a noose she'd tied herself. Everyone was watching her now, not me. Not even the screen. Just her. frozen in place, barely blinking. The blush from earlier drained from her cheeks, replaced by something colorless and cold. Shock, humiliation, recognition. The applause from the proposal hadn't even fully faded before the gasps replaced it. That fast, that violently. From "she said yes" to "she did what?" in under 4 minutes. I stood beside her, calm, still holding the mic. "Before we move forward," I said, voice steady. I thought it was only fair to share the whole story. The screen behind me kept playing, clips layered like a confession tape. Hotel room doors closing. A recorded voice note. Sabrina saying, "He'd never believe you and I could actually be a thing." Nathan replying, "That's what makes it fun." Sabrina took a step back. 1, then 2. But there was nowhere to go. Everyone was already looking. Paul kept filming. Bless him, he didn't even flinch. His instincts kicked in. He thought he was shooting a proposal doc. Turned out, it was a documentary about collapse. And he was nailing it. I turned back to the crowd. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Seriously, it means a lot." Laughter. Not from me. From someone in the back. That sharp, shocked kind of laugh you can't hold in. When something so uncomfortable hits, it becomes absurd. It rippled through the crowd. And that's when the murmurs started. "She lied. Is that Nathan Reeve? Was this a setup? Wait, this is real." Sabrina finally spoke, barely above a whisper. "Liam, what the hell are you doing?" I met her eyes. "You said yes, Sabrina. That was the whole point." Her voice cracked. "This isn't real," I offered. "Of course it's not. Just like your girls' weekends. Just like your late nights at the office. Just like that Cartier watch Nathan bought you, with his wife's credit card." Her jaw dropped. The screen flashed again, photo of the receipt. Clear as day. Claire's name. The amount. Sabrina turned, eyes scanning the room for Nathan. Gone. Of course he was. Claire was still there, though, standing by the bar, sipping champagne like it was just another gala. I tipped my head toward her. "Don't worry. He'll see the footage later." Sabrina's voice dropped low. "You set me up." "No," I said, stepping closer. "You set yourself up. I just made sure the world had a good view." She looked down at the ring on her finger, tugged at it. It didn't come off easily. Her fingers had swollen a little. Stress? Salt from the catering? Doesn't matter. She yanked harder until it popped free and threw it at my chest. It bounced once, hit the floor, rolled under the dessert table. Fitting. She turned to run, but someone blocked the exit. Paul, still filming. She stopped, then turned back toward the room. Half her friends were looking at their phones now. The other half, just watching her unravel. I stepped back to the mic one last time. "If anyone wants cake, please, help yourself. Otherwise, the real party just started." The projector didn't stop. Even after Sabrina ran. Even after Nathan vanished like a coward into the night. Even after people stopped pretending this was still a birthday party. The room dimmed further, intentional now, the only real light coming from the footage still playing on the screen. The crowd, once buzzing with celebration, now stood frozen in clusters, phones in hand, mouths slightly open, disbelief thick in the air. Some people whispered. Others just watched. No one looked at me. Not really. They were all too busy watching her. The next clip rolled. A candid shot from the Seattle Tech Summit. Nathan and Sabrina at a rooftop bar, faces close. She was wearing the same red dress from tonight's party. Only this time, her hand was on his knee. The audio kicked in. "Nathan, think he suspects anything yet?" Sabrina, laughing, "Please. He still brings me coffee in bed. Like a puppy trying to earn a treat." The crowd actually recoiled at that one. A visible shift in the room. Like a fog lifting. Like everyone collectively realizing they'd been looking at her wrong this whole time. I stepped back from the mic and walked off stage. Claire met me halfway, holding 2 glasses of champagne. I took one. "To secrets," she said, "and the people dumb enough to speak them into microphones." We clinked. I looked around the room. At the faces. A few people, her coworkers especially, were already recording with their phones. Some had that hungry look. The one you see when gossip's about to go viral. It was out of my hands now. Exactly how I wanted it. Behind us, the final clip started. A slow-motion montage I edited myself. Sabrina laughing at Nathan's jokes. Sabrina sipping wine while texting him during girls' nights. Sabrina on the balcony in her robe. The same one she told me she'd borrowed from Miranda's spa weekend. all set to an instrumental piano track I pulled from a royalty-free site. Sad, soft, elegant. One shot faded into the next, each one quieter than the last. And then, black screen, just 2 words in white. She said yes. The lights came back on slowly, like waking up from something. People shifted in their heels, adjusted their jackets, sipped drinks just to feel normal again. A few started leaving, not in a rush, more like stunned sleepwalkers. The birthday party was officially over. Claire touched my arm. She's still in the bathroom, she said, crying, staring at herself. I nodded. She's not used to being seen, I said. Claire smiled without humor. Now she knows what it's like. I walked outside for air. The night had that crisp San Francisco chill, and the city lights stretched out like a million people living other lives. The door opened behind me. Paul stepped out, camera still slung over his shoulder. He looked at me carefully. You okay? Yeah. You sure? That was a lot. I shrugged. She wanted the night to be unforgettable. He let out a breath. It's gonna go viral, man. You know that, right? I'm counting on it. Inside, the room was nearly empty. Just a few guests lingering in awkward silence, unsure if they were supposed to leave or stay, or pretend they hadn't just witnessed someone's social life implode in high definition. Sabrina didn't come back out. Nathan didn't answer his phone. But their story? That was just beginning. And I was about to post the first chapter. It hit 10,000 views in the first hour. At 14,000, someone from Sabrina's office DM'd me. Is this real? Holy sh**t. I didn't respond. By midnight, it passed 30,000. By sunrise, it was on Reddit. r/justice served. r/relationship_advice. r/tech drama. The captions wrote themselves. She said yes to a fake ring, right before her boyfriend exposed her affair on a projector screen. Startup queen gets dethroned in 4K. When your birthday party becomes your cancellation. It spread like wildfire. The full video I uploaded was 7 minutes and 32 seconds. Just the highlight reel. None of my commentary. Just them. I edited it clean. No blood. Just cuts. Moments stacked on moments. Laughter. Lies. Hotel keys. Hand touches. Voice recordings. That final screen. She said yes. Claire called it surgical. I called it closure. Sabrina didn't come home that night. Or the next. She texted me once. You didn't have to destroy me. I didn't reply. Because I hadn't destroyed her. She just finally got seen without the filter. By the end of the week, Nathan Reeves' board had issued a statement. Leadership restructuring. Breaches of conduct. Internal review. Translation, he was gone. Claire sent me a photo of him packing up his office. She captioned it. Should have kept it in his pants. Sabrina was placed on unpaid leave, pending internal investigation. 2 of her clients pulled deals. Her influencer friends unfollowed her in quiet waves. 1 deleted all their photos together. By Friday, the fake engagement ring became a meme. Me proposing to the red flags I ignored. When you say yes, but the projector says no. It wasn't just a breakup anymore. It was a case study in curated collapse. And me? I posted another video. A reel of my own. Footage of her smiling in the beginning. Her Instagram perfect life. Then the slow shift, recordings, receipts, audio clips. I called it the art of being played. It hit 100K by Saturday. I turned off notifications. Paul texted me later that night. You gonna take it all down? I stared at the message for a long time. Then typed. No. She wanted a story worth telling. I just gave it one. I sat on the balcony that night, watching the city breathe. The lights. The fog. The aftermath. Inside, the fake ring sat in a glass on the counter, still sparkling under the kitchen light. I left it there. Not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. Precise. Measured. Sometimes, revenge looks like a man holding a camera and finally aiming it in the right direction. By Monday, it wasn't just a video. It was a movement. Podcasts were dissecting it. TikTokers were reenacting it. Influencers were weighing in with fake sympathy and real clicks. Some called me petty. Most called me a genius. But everyone agreed on one thing. She said yes and still lost everything. The office Sabrina loved so much. The curated aesthetic, the rooftop happy hours, the startup cloud, turned cold overnight. No one sat with her at lunch. The Slack channel she used to dominate with gifs and fake cheer? Dead silent. She stopped posting. Stopped smiling in hallways. The last thing she ever published on Instagram was a photo of her hands wrapped around a coffee cup. No caption, no ring, just shaking fingers. Nathan tried to fight it. Briefly, he issued a statement full of tech bro jargon. Personal mistakes unrelated to company performance. Time for new opportunities. Appreciate the board's understanding. But the board didn't understand. Because when the screenshots surfaced, the receipts, the timeline, the overlapping travel expenses, investors started pulling. One by one. Until Nathan Reeve, the visionary, the disruptor, the family man, was just another disgraced founder with a deleted LinkedIn bio and a private Instagram. Claire didn't waste time. She filed for divorce that Friday. Got the house, the kids, the shares. She posted one photo after signing the papers, standing in front of her own company's new office, sunglasses on, wind in her hair. Captioned, "Not just the CEO's wife anymore." The comments were brutal, but she didn't flinch. She'd already won. Sabrina texted again. This time it wasn't rage. It was something worse. "Can we please talk? I don't care about the company, or the internet, or Nathan. I need to explain." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I opened the folder on my desktop labeled Closure. Inside were all the raw clips, all the takes, all the edits. I picked one. A moment from 2 months ago. Sabrina in our kitchen, laughing at something on her phone. Nathan had just texted her. She thought I didn't see it. I watched her face shift. That smile. That little bite of her lip. The same smile she used on me. On everyone. I closed the folder. And I blocked her number. Then I posted one last reel. A side-by-side. On the left, Sabrina's birthday post from last year. On the right, a clip from the projector reveal. Her face, mid-collapse. Captioned, "Every lie looks like love until the lights come on." It was the final cut. The last word. And I never looked back. She showed up at my door on a Tuesday. No warning. No text. Just Sabrina, standing on my porch in the same black coat she used to wear when we'd go out in the rain together. Except now it swallowed her. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Just a faint puffiness around the eyes. Like she'd been crying or sleeping too much, or not at all. I didn't say anything. Just held the door open enough to let her choose whether to speak or leave. She stepped inside. The silence stretched. Baxter padded into the hallway, saw her, and stopped. He didn't wag his tail. Didn't bark. Just turned and went back to his spot in the living room. That hit harder than I expected. Sabrina noticed. "He hates me now." "No," I said. "He just knows who shows up." She nodded, looking at the floor. "I deserve that." We sat across from each other at the kitchen table, the same spot where we'd planned our vacations. Laughed over takeout. Argued over bills. She stared at her hands. The same ones that once held my face like I was the only thing that mattered. Now they trembled against the wood grain. "I made a mistake," she said quietly. I didn't respond. "I know everyone thinks I'm a monster now. That I used you. Lied. Slept my way up." I tilted my head. "Isn't that exactly what happened?" She flinched, but didn't deny it. Instead, she looked up, eyes red, raw, honest in a way that came too late. "I thought ambition would save me," she whispered. "I thought if I could be enough in that world, I'd finally feel like I mattered, that I belonged." I stared at her. "I wanted to matter to you," I said. "That used to be enough." She swallowed. "I know. That's the part I'll regret for the rest of my life." She pulled out her phone. Taped to the back was the ring box. Still dented. Still fake. "I kept it," she said. "Even after I knew." "Knew what?" "That it wasn't real. Not just the ring. The moment. The proposal. All of it. You were too calm. Too perfect. And when the lights went out," she paused. "I knew I was the villain." I leaned forward. "No, Sabrina. You were just the main character in a story you wrote for yourself." I just held up a mirror. She looked down again. "I still love you," she said. Barely audible. I didn't say it back. Because I didn't. Not anymore. But I let her keep talking. Because I wanted her to hear herself. "I thought Nathan saw me," she said. "Really saw me. The way no one had before." I raised an eyebrow. "And how's that going?" She laughed bitterly. "He won't return my calls. Claire's freezing his accounts. His kids won't speak to him. Sounds like a soulmate." She nodded. "I deserve all of this," she said. "But, Liam, Ivy, she still asks about you." That stopped me. My chest tightened. "You told your niece?" "She saw the video at school," Sabrina whispered. "The kids were passing it around. She asked why Uncle Liam was sad." I closed my eyes. That little girl once made me a macaroni photo frame that said, "Best boyfriend ever." She used to fall asleep on my chest when Sabrina worked late. She didn't deserve any of this. Sabrina leaned forward, eyes shining again. "Can we talk again?" "Not now. Later. I need to believe I didn't lose everything." I stared at her for a long time, then pulled out my phone. Pressed record. She blinked. "What are you doing?" "Getting closure," I said. "This time, I want the truth on camera." Her lips parted. Shocked. Wounded. But she nodded. And started talking. Claire Reeve didn't raise her voice. She didn't post a video. She didn't need to. She filed. Petition for divorce. Emergency injunction on all shared assets. Custody of both children. And one quiet bombshell buried in the court documents. Misuse of corporate funds for personal relationships. 3 weeks after the party, the court filings hit the press. Nathan Reeve wasn't just a husband who cheated. He was a CEO who used investor money to bankroll his affair. Luxury hotels, first-class flights, private gifts, including the infamous Cartier watch. It didn't matter that it came from Claire's Amex. It still looked bad. And in tech, optics are everything. Claire didn't hide. She walked into every hearing dressed like she was attending an awards show. Chic, composed, terrifying. Nathan showed up with a different lawyer every week. None of them lasted. Because Claire had what he didn't. Proof, patience, power. And she used them all. The day the judgment came through, she called me. Not to brag. Not to celebrate. Just to share one line. He thought the worst part was losing me. He hadn't even started losing yet. Here's what she got. Full custody of their kids. The house in Pacific Heights. 38% of the company's shares, inherited through marriage. Just enough to make her his boss before the board removed him entirely. And a court order blocking him from contacting her or the children outside supervised visitation. Here's what Nathan got. Fired. Blacklisted. Publicly exposed for using company funds to book hotel suites for his mistress. A GoFundMe page started, ironically, by a fake account claiming he was a victim of cancel culture. It raised $87. Claire didn't post anything for a while. She let the silence work for her. Then one day, weeks later, she uploaded a single photo. Her standing outside the new HQ of her own consulting firm. Same building Nathan once called his kingdom. She wore red. Same shade Sabrina wore at the party. The caption? Not just the CEO's wife anymore. It went viral in under an hour. I screenshotted it. Saved it. Because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's elegance with teeth. And Claire? She didn't just burn the bridge. She bought the land and built something better. Sabrina called me again after the story broke. No words. Just a voicemail. Her voice was small. Tired. I didn't think she'd actually do all of it. I didn't think you would either. She paused. It's all gone, Liam. Everything. Then silence. I didn't save it. Claire and I met one last time. No cameras. No plans. Just coffee and closure. I asked her what she wanted next. She smiled. Peace. I asked if she ever missed him. She stirred her drink, slow. Only the version of him that never existed. I was standing on the cliffs at Land's End, camera in hand, watching the sunset throw fire across the Pacific. The kind of golden light photographers chase for years. And there, in the last of it, was the moment I'd been waiting for. Not the photo. The piece. Baxter barked once, chasing a crab near the rocks. I laughed. It felt real. Light. Like someone else's laugh. Someone I used to be. Then my phone buzzed. One new voicemail. Sabrina. Again. I didn't listen to it. I didn't need to. I knew what it would say. I miss you. I'm sorry. Let's talk. But we'd already talked. On tape. In truth. In ruin. I opened my contacts. Scrolled to her name. Held my thumb over it for just a second longer than necessary. Then pressed delete. Not block. Not archive. Delete. She was out of my phone. Out of my inbox. Out of focus, for good. Behind me, the ocean kept moving. Waves crashing against rocks that had been standing longer than anyone I'd ever loved. I raised the camera. Snapped a frame. Looked at it on the screen. Perfect. Balanced. Honest. I smiled to myself. That, I whispered, was the best shot I've ever taken. Sabrina Moore became a cautionary tale. Nathan Reeve became a ghost. Claire Reeve became an icon. And me? I just kept shooting. Weddings. Street portraits. A few brand campaigns. None of it viral. None of it revenge. Just art. The kind that doesn't lie. Sometimes people ask about the video. Was it real? Did she deserve it? Would you do it again? And I always say the same thing. She said yes. To the wrong man. On the right night. Then I pick up my camera and walk into the light.